This is about as embarrassing as when I left a bolt on the gearbox. So it's 6 AM on a Sunday morning. Everyone is tucked up in bed nicely, and us two numpties are walking to the train station because we're going to go and buy a new car to replace the Fiat 500 that has died. And it's pitch black. And we're having to walk 45 minutes to the train station because where we live you can't get a taxi at this time in the morning.
We will be calling at Stratford and London Liverpool Street.
What is your favourite part of the new car? The best aspect of having a new car?
It's the fancy schmancy new sat-nav.
Out of everything that's different from this car to your old one, the fact that it works.
It's more refined.
It's
more refined.
The best thing is this screen. This is what you're saying is the best part of the whole car.
You're putting me on the spot and I don't know.
So this is what we ended up buying. This is a 2014 Audi A3. And it is in absolutely mint condition. And the reason it's in mint condition is because this car has only got 19,000 miles on it. So, like, it's really not had a strenuous life whatsoever. And it really is in fantastic condition. It's the 1.4 TFSI model, so it's turbocharged 1.4. I mean, all engines in modern cars these days are small, aren't they? It drives really, really nicely. I mean, you can just see in here it's absolutely immaculate. We're pretty pleased with this purchase, actually. We ended up getting it for the same price that cars of the same age and the same spec were going for 90,000 miles. And this has got 19,000 miles. So we got a hell of a deal, and that's why we drove all the way up to York to go and get it. So we've actually got 4 cars between us, but this is the only one that works. So we've got this now, the Fiat 500, which is dead. We've got the Mini, obviously, that I'm working on. And if you've seen any of my previous videos as well, you'll see that I've got a V8 Audi A6 from 2000. Naomi wasn't wrong. This is a way more refined car than the Fiat. You know, we drove that Fiat up to the peaks. We've driven it down to Cornwall. And it's been great. It's been absolutely fantastic. But this is just a way more pleasurable experience driving a newer car. So we have got a couple of things that we actually want to do to this car. So it is one big slab of silver with the paint being pretty much the same colour as the wheels. So what we've decided that we're going to do is we're going to get a factory tint on the windows, and I think we're also going to get the wheels resprayed kind of a gunmetal grey, not black. I hate black wheels. I think they look awful. The only time black wheels look good to me is on a white car. I think that'll just set that off really nicely because that is a big slab of silver we've got going on there. And I'm also going to replace, I'm going to get new plates because I absolutely hate it when you get plates like that. Like a driving advertisement for these guys. It is going to be more Naomi's car than mine. You know, I've got the silly cars and she needs a nice dependable daily driver, as do I. But she's only been driving 2 and a bit years now, so this is the only car she's ever driven is the Fiat 500, so this is a step up. So I was thinking about getting it remapped and get up to about 30 extra brake, but I really don't think there's much need. If it's just Naomi that's going to be driving it more than anything. I don't think she's ever put her foot to the carpet before, so. So now back to the Mini. I have a very ambitious goal this week, and that is to get this engine and the subframe and all of its components back into the car by the end of the week. I think that's completely doable, actually, because as it stands there are no more parts that I don't think there are any more parts that I actually need. Actually, I've just made a list, and it's a little bit more daunting, the list of stuff that I've got to do, than I thought. I'm still going to aim for the end of the week, but let's see. So for instance, you know, I've got to refit this water pump. You saw in the last video that I've actually lost one of the bolts here, but I popped a screw fix and managed to pick up some new ones. Screw fix are fantastic, but it's impossible to buy anything in quantities less than 100. I only needed one of these, but I had to settle for 100. So if anyone needs an M8 by 35mm screw hit me up. I'm going to check the oil filter housing for a rattle. So Lee was kind enough to comment on the last video saying to check inside here. There's a plastic valve that sometimes breaks, and that could have been the rattle. And this, obviously this rattle I'm talking about is where I'm worried that I haven't fixed the death rattle because the timing chain all looked healthy. So I'm going to check in here for plastic part that may have broken, see if there was what the rattle is. Also, Andrew Mansbridge commented, and he said he had a very similar issue on a Mini that he rebuilt, and his was the tensioner, the belt tensioner. Now obviously this is a brand new unit, because there's my old one that's completely shot. So hopefully that would have sorted out that problem if it was that was rattling. So I've got those two things to check, and then it's basically just putting everything back together. I'm pretty sure he's talking about this plastic one-way valve in there. Now that to me, bud, looks solid. There's some really good spring tension on it, and if I wobble it about, it hardly moves at all. And even if I shake it, I suppose, nothing. So I think this is good, which leaves me then, hopefully the rattle was coming from, maybe it was coming from the chain still, but let's hope it was actually coming from the tensioner then. And to be fair, my tensioner was destroyed. So I'm going to take this supercharger off one more time, just so I can get to that bolt that's stuck in there for the water pump. Oh my god. Oh my god. I've just realised what I've done. Oh. This is about as embarrassing as when I left a bolt on the gearbox. I'm just unscrewing this bolt now. You know what that is, don't you? That bolt that I'm unscrewing from the supercharger is the bloody bolt I'm missing out of the water pump. Why didn't one of you guys say anything? Oh no, that's so embarrassing. I can see exactly what I've done now. So there's this bolt here that's open on the supercharger, and I've refitted the supercharger and just thought, oh, this bolt must go in there. But you know what bolt goes in there? That's going to be for the, I can't remember now, it's going to be the alternator, and that didn't need a bolt in it just yet. And so I've just seen an extra hole and then stuck any bolt that I thought went in it. And because last week I was having some problems and I wasn't thinking straight all week, I've just absent-mindedly put it in. So when I'm going on about how I've lost this bolt and I can't find it anywhere, no wonder I can't find it anywhere, I've put it in a different hole in the engine. That is schoolboy. But on the upside, I found the bolt. That is, I mean, it's quite funny now you think about it. But just a massive, massive rookie error, isn't it? But hey ho, this is one of those things you learn, I suppose. So that's a lot of this hardware and the supercharger now all torqued down to spec, which is really nice. I had a bit of a pain getting this tube back in, this vacuum tube. So one of the things I really want to do on this car is just, you know, anything that I can kind of see to that isn't going to take way too much time, I want to just refresh really. So these clips, for instance, I've actually got myself a selection of hose clips. So whenever I see things like this now, we can kind of do away with these old ones, because I really want to make this car as nice as possible for the next owner. And I think just little touches like this are just going to see the car through for a good few more years. And it's something that I'd really appreciate someone doing for me. Perfect, look, all new clamps on these hoses. It's the little things, it's the little things. And now the alternator. Oh, that's not a good start. So this is the bolt. This is the bolt that goes in there, not the one that I actually had, which was that water pump bolt that I spent 2 days stressing over. Inlet, supercharger inlet thingamajigger on, and I've torqued everything down now. All of these components getting torqued down, all the filter housings torqued down, the engine support thing at the bottom, they're all torqued down. So I'm just kind of getting through everything as best I can. I want to make sure that I do all this talking down, and I keep going over it and over it if I missed anything, because this is all fairly new to me. So what I need to do now is I need to put the dipstick back on, and I need to put the engine mount on this side, but that's going to be after lunch. Right, so we're back from lunch, and I actually took down the whole workshop gazebo because it was just literally about to take off. So I just got cranking. There's always a delicate balance, right, between me filming stuff and me actually getting work done. Sometimes I have to just crank away without filming it. Dipstick is back on, and I need to attack the engine from the bottom because I need to replace the sump gasket. So I'm gonna have to suspend it from the top with the crane and then take those bolts out, and then we'll get that whizzed off. Yeah, I mean, we all knew that was going to happen. So that there is the old gasket, and you can see it's just absolutely minging. Minging. We need to bring that word back, minging. I don't know if that sounds like a kid, really. And this is always the scary bit, right? Where you fish through your sump, picking out pieces of debris, such as Exhibit A and Exhibit B. Right, I just picked these two pieces out of the sump. They're both plastic. So this is like a weird, almost little disc. It's been snapped off on the back. And this is some kind of like right-angled piece of plastic also. Now, what I have done is I've fished out the chain guides. These are the ones that I've just removed. So to me, this piece here very much looks like it could be a piece like that. So if you can see that profile, you'll see it's the exact same kind of profile as this piece of plastic, but these ones that I pulled off are intact. So this very much looks as though it could have come from one that was already on the car. And also this plastic bit here also looks like it could be this bit here on another set of these. And that to me is actually great news. That's great because it means someone has changed the timing chain on here before. And when I was looking at that crankshaft sprocket, it didn't look worn, it looked new. Someone's done a full job on this. So I've done it again apart from the crankshaft sprocket. And these are the only two pieces of debris that I did find in the sump. And they are both plastic, so but if any of you guys are looking at that now and you know what that actually is and I've got that completely wrong, please write that in the comments now or forever hold your peace. Okay, right, so I'm just going to get all this cleaned up and I'm going to get this new gasket fitted. So it's now the next day. I did manage to get the sump back on the engine with a new gasket and a new sump plug. The engine is under wraps at the minute. It had a bit of a rain last night. This is now basically a complete engine as far as I can take it. That is how I pulled it out of the car pretty much. All I need to do now is I need to fit the new clutch to the gearbox and And here's the thing, right? This right here is the old flywheel. Now, I've had a look about, and it seems as though you are supposed to replace a dual mass flywheel when you do a clutch. I didn't know that until like yesterday. But the thing is, I'm not quite sure how old this flywheel is. I mean, so you can see here, it does say Mini on it. So, I mean, it's an original part. Well, it's an OEM part, but is it like the original actual flywheel? Because this car's done 125,000 miles. And, you know, it's a 2006 plate. So if this has never been changed, I think what I'm going to do, if I just give it a really quick clean down, just see if I can see any markings. Maybe there's like a manufacturer date on it. I mean, I can't find any obvious markings on there to say when this was manufactured. Because the thing is, I've just looked at how much a new flywheel is, and it's like £320. But here's the problem, I'm one of these people that I just really like to do a job properly. And that's why this has very quickly turned from me wanting to flip cars to me now just basically partly restoring cars, because I just don't have it in me to just do a half-assed job. And you saw the state that the clutch was in when I took it out. The clutch was destroyed, and I'm pretty sure this car's been on track. So even if this flywheel is 50,000 miles old and it's had the abuse that I think this car has had, it probably means I need to splash out and get a new flywheel, doesn't it? And again, I know I've said this a few times, but this is very much a case of, you know, the engine and the gearbox are out. So I did just splash out £320 on a new flywheel. It's not in stock until tomorrow. So in the next video, you're going to see me fit the new clutch of the flywheel. And then all there is to do really is to bolt the transmission back up to the engine and then fit it back in the car. And now we're making some real progress. So I'll see you in the next one.